Let's see what's good, y'all. See what I got. This is an immediate live. Yeah, immediate live. Eddie Chambers, what's good?
Good. Same. It was a good fight. A couple good fights actually on that.
Yeah, let's talk about this main event, man. What did you see, man? What did you see tonight? I was scoring the fight on Twitter, and I was trying to post my stuff on the Instagram, and I actually had Barrios winning 4-0 going into the fourth round. I know that third round you thought that Tank won. Yeah. I didn't say round 3 was debatable. Do you think that was just the game plan for Tank to just walk him down, eventually get him late, or do you think that's just how he fights? Because it seems like it's the same story with Tank. Like fight after fight, he seems to have been giving away these early rounds, and then you know what I mean. And then before you know it, he's coming back and knocking you out later in the fight. What's your thoughts?
I think that's pretty much what it is. I mean,
is it his style or is that his game plan?
I think that's just the way he likes to do it. I don't think he likes to waste punches. It's like this. If he sees the opening for a good shot, I think he throws it. But if he doesn't, he looks and he looks and he waits. And I think I've been guilty of that. You see other fighters who are real sharp punchers. Generally, they try to wait for the perfect situation, and sometimes that's bad. But when you're as explosive as he is, when your opportunity shows up, it tends to be enough. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it may take 4 or 5 rounds, sometimes 6, 7. But it's like even like Deontay Wilder, when you look at him, you know what I mean? He's one of those guys. At any point in the fight, he's dangerous. He throws a shot, closes his eyes, catch you with a right hand. That might be it. He's that kind of fighter. So it's the same thing with Tank. Obviously, Tank's a different skill level, but he's just very, very explosive. And I think it was really up to him. I think when he realized that he had to start picking the pressure up because Barrios was just sitting on his jab and, winning rounds, trying to control the real estate a little bit. And Tank was just kind of like having a look, trying to see what was going on with him, what his power was like and things like that. He caught Tank a couple good shots, but didn't bother him. And I think at that point he realized, man, I just need to go ahead and start picking it up. And then when Floyd told him, hey, you might be down, he was like, unofficially, you look like you down. Jump on him, or at least be great, or whatever he said to him. He turned that shit up to 1,000. And, after that 10-7 round, he pretty much had it going his way, regardless of whether or not the rounds were close or whether I thought that Tank's work was what was carrying the fight. You know what I mean? After that round. So it was like, even though, like Steve Farhood gave him rounds, because honestly, he was probably doing well, the other guy, Barrios. But I think it was just a matter of just when Tank decided he wanted to let his hands go, you know what I mean? The fight was going to be over, one way or the other, or he was going to be winning, controlling it, because his punches just seemed to mean so much more and were so much more explosive.
Yeah, it seemed like even though Barrios was winning the rounds that I thought he was winning, it never felt like he was going to win the fight.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And it's kind of one of those things where I've noticed that being a repeated thing with Tank. Like, even when he's losing, it never feels like he's going to lose the fight.
Right.
And I know it has a lot to do with his punching power, but it also has to do with how he picks up the pace later in the fight. It seems like round 4, round 5, you see him, he starts to build on a momentum. He almost looks like he's giving away the rounds that he's losing.
And like he's just letting them have him in. It's always like, it almost looks like he's just like the way he defends, he's putting his hands up, literally almost touching their hands with his hands and like kind of just pushing their punches aside, almost like it doesn't even count. But at the same time, he's still looking for the perfect opportunity. And sometimes that's bad. I mean, if he fought somebody like a Lomachenko or even a Tiafimo or somebody like that who can box from the outside really well and win rounds and can get respect with their power. I don't know so much about Lomachenko as much with the power, but definitely Lopez. It might be a little bit trying for him to do that kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? But he is extremely explosive. He carries his power up to 140. Who knows how far from there? Even though he's 5'5" or whatever, 5'6", he's still able to travel up and do damage. So. And he carries his power late, too, so that shows he's in good condition. it's hard to look. You know, it's hard to be against him, man. Against a guy like that. You know what I mean? There's always going to be detractors, but Tank looks to be, you know, for real. He's 100% for real.
Big shout out to my man Joe Beck. I hope I said that right. Beck for the super chat. Yeah, man. I mean, Tank. So what now? He moved up 2 weight classes. He went to 140. He wins I think that was for a title.
Yeah.
So now what? What does he do? Does he campaign at 140 or does he come back down to 135?
I feel like he has 3 divisions, with the exception of 130, because I know 130
with it right now. I'm not quite sure.
Well, I mean, he has the ability to fight, I guess, at 3 weight divisions. I don't know how much he wants to fight at 130 because obviously the weight's going to be a problem for him, I guess. But if it's not, he has literally 3 different weight divisions that he can compete at and legitimately be the king of. So at this point, it's like follow the money, in my opinion. Like, where's the biggest fight? You know what I mean?
Where do you rank, like, not more so like technically, but where do you rank Tank as far as skills amongst the top guys, like the Ryan Garcias, Lomachenko's, Shakur Stevenson's, Devin Haney's, you know, all these guys that are, you know, considered the top pound for pound. You know what I mean? Where do you put Tank? And like, I know you're gonna say they're all, you know, could beat each other on any given night, but if you had to do a top 5, what's your listing on where Tank is placed? From what you see fundamentally and skill-wise right now.
Skill-wise, he's there. He's right there with them. You know what I mean? Devin Haney is really, really good skill-wise. And I feel like Ryan Garcia is too, but I feel like his is so much more explosive speed and power, more so than his skill per se. I'm not saying he's not skilled. I just don't think he's of the same level of skill as those guys are. Really, he's definitely as explosive power wise, but I don't know about skill. I feel like Lomachenko is the top guy of the other ones we mentioned skill wise. He just has so much.
You think Lomachenko's more skilled than Tank?
Yeah, he's definitely more skilled than Tank. No disrespect to Tank and saying the Tank can't. He's not a skilled guy, but Lomachenko got so many tools in his toolbox. He got every fucking tool in there. You know what I mean? He's great footwork. The angles are obviously that goes into footwork. Knows how to punch off it. You know, he even has the offbeat punches. You know what I mean? Which kind of is hard to defend. You know what I mean? As you was watching that fight, we were watching him fight the I can't remember his name. I hate to say the Asian kid, but that's he was fighting that guy earlier, and it was just like he was hitting him, and it was almost like another guy was in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Because the angles and some of the shots he was throwing was just kind of it was offbeat. And I was killed the guy. He didn't know what to do.
Let's talk about that. What was your thoughts on Lomachenko tonight?
From what I saw, you know, I didn't see all the way to the end, but it's vintage Lomachenko. He's just that kind of guy. He's all over the place. Hard to put a read on. Hard to get a read on. He's almost like he's there in front of you, but then he's not. You know what I mean? It's like an invisible man. It's like he bends the ranges real well, kind of like how you think about Floyd. Like Floyd will look like he's right in front of you and you throw a shot, and it's like, damn, how the hell he get so far away? That's the kind of thing with Floyd's footwork, as well as like you look at Lomachenko with the same kind of, not the exact same footwork, but similar. But he's doing it right in front of you. Like he's literally standing there and not using his legs as much as far as like range. He's not trying to get so far out of range. He's in front of you and you're throwing shots and you grabbing air. You know what I mean? You shadow boxing essentially with him. And it's for whatever. And then he's obviously in a favorable position, especially when he gets to the side. And he's landing these shots and they're from crazy angles. It's just hard. I can't imagine fighting a guy like that. It's like the motherfucker has like four arms. You know what I mean? And he's all over the fucking place. You know, he's like a little fly. A fly that can crack. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
So what do you see now? What do you see now? Lomachenko wins. You know, the Teofimo Lopez fight was supposed to happen, but then, of course, the COVID situation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, what do you see? Like, is Lomachenko right back in the mix as one of the top guys? Like, do you think that, like, what's your thoughts?
He was never out of the top guy conversation. I mean, the Lopez fight was good. It was a good fight back and forth. It was at first it was all Lopez, but then he turned it up and looked like he was actually gonna get the stoppage at one point. But then Lopez showed he's a true champ and came back and won the 12. But I didn't think that his stock dropped so bad. I thought he was, he trying to fight hurt, trying to do things and win fights in those situations. That's great. I mean, that's no excuse. You still got to win the fight if you're going to go in and you're going to take it. But I never thought that he fell off the top of the mountaintop. I felt like he just, dropped a couple rungs on the ladder, but never completely gone. And with Lopez, and I don't know when the opportunity will be available for him to fight. I guess it's after this next fight he's having. That'd be another interesting fight. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it all depends on what we see from Lomachenko. He's obviously now we figure he's healthy, so now there's no excuses. If Teofimo goes in there and dominates him, if he goes in there and wins the fight, he wins the fight. You know what I mean? Ain't no other thing is my shoulder. But nah, don't matter. At that point, it's over. He beat you. He got you. You know what I'm saying? Even if I still think he's the best skill fighter out there. But at the same time, if this guy just has your number, he has your number. That's the way it is.
So you think? So you're putting Lomachenko number one as the top skilled fighter?
Skill wise, yeah, absolutely, for sure. You know what I mean? If of the ones we were talking about, yeah. Devin Haney's in there in the conversation too.
Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney. Even Tank.
No, all these dudes, they're all as advertised. They especially like you look at Shakur and Devin Haney, they're really, really skilled fighters. And I'm not saying that Tank isn't, he is. It's just he's so explosive that overshadows his skill a little bit sometimes. So it's kind of hard to like say that, because the other guys, that's what they do. You know what I mean? Most of them are not punchers. Like even Shakur. Well, Shakur, he's not really a knockout guy. He's more skilled. Same thing with Lomachenko. He's a mainly skill guy. You know what I mean? They're not knocking guys out constantly like with one punch. Really, they're especially at this weight for Lomachenko. So it's they have to be all of that. But with Tank, he's coming in looking for big bombs and looking to get you out of there. But he does it with skills. You know what I mean? He's not doing it, just coming in and trying to bomb you out. He's doing it in like a couple of those uppercuts, man. And I seen him try to throw at Barrios, man, were inches away. And, I was like, damn, there was one that I saw and I was like, yo, if he would have landed that shit, this fight would have been over. Kind of similar to when he was fighting Santa Cruz. So it's yeah, I mean, like I said, he's in the conversation and they're all in the conversation. But if I had to say there was the best one, it would be Lomachenko. And following that, maybe Haney or
Shakur,
and then Tank or Teofimo and Tank.
Yeah, they're all them guys. All them guys are pretty neck and neck, man. It really depends on what your preference is with those guys. Let's talk about Jason Rosario and Erickson Lubin. That's a fight that I think that we can't forget. I mean, those guys really fought, and
I like that fight.
What was your thoughts on that fight, man? It seemed like Erickson Lubin did a real good job when he hurt him in the third round, but then he was very patient, picked his shots. Then it almost seemed like he took a round off, and he almost ended up getting knocked out in the very next round. Then he stood calm, and then I thought he was actually being a little too calm, but then out of nowhere, gets the body shot. That's the second time we've seen Jason Rosario lose to a body shot, 2 fights in a row. What do you think is causing him to not be able to absorb these body shots? You know what I mean? That's the second fight in a row, which is rare. I don't see that often where a guy loses 2 fights in a row due to a body shot.
Yeah, I mean, it's trying to make the weight. I know they mentioned that. I don't know how realistic that is. I never really had to go through that myself. I mean, probably, yeah, that could definitely make it a lot tougher to, survive a body shot if you starving yourself or whatever, trying to make weight and going through all of these different changes and your body's just not as solid as you would need it to be. But I I don't know if it was that or it's just something that that's the chink in the armor. You know what I mean? He's not very good at absorbing body shots. You know what I mean? Some guys that's just a part of their thing. Like you look at what's my man's name? Dang, I can't even think of his name. He was always getting hurt with the body shots. I can't think of his name. Keith Thurman, another guy. Same kind of thing. You see him most of the time. He's getting hurt with body shots. You're like, damn. I mean, he got dropped in the head before, but those body shots bothered him. You see it in a couple of his fights. So I don't know. You know what I mean? It's a tough place to get hit, and some people can't mask and can't hide it. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. Maybe it could be the weight. It could be just something that some predisposition dealing with trauma to the body. Who knows? But I like Erickson Lubin though. I like him. He's like I said,
him a lot, man. I like him a lot. He's very calm.
Yeah.
He's very skilled. How do you see a fight with him going in a rematch with a Charlo? The guy, the same guy who knocked him out. How do you see a rematch? Do you think
he has
different, or do you think that knockout would haunt him? He showed that his chin was wobbled today. So obviously, if you crack him on that chin, there's a good chance you could hurt him. That's the kink in the armor for Erickson Lubin, and we know that Charlo is coming to knock you out. What is your thoughts if they was to rematch based off the performance you saw tonight?
Well, he got the skills to compete with him, no doubt. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a matter of when Charlo decides to turn up the volume. Do you have the defense to keep him from catching you with that shot? You know what I mean? That shot is going to put you out. Mm-hmm. And honestly, even though I like him defensively, I like him offensively, I like how calm he is and how relaxed he is and how he slows the fight down. I like all of that. I like his game. He's good on all fronts, in my opinion. It's just get hit, you can't take it. That's all they need. And it's like the Charlo brothers, both of them, they know how to get them shots in, and they're powerful guys. You know what I mean? They're obviously good fighters, and they understand how to land those shots. So you can't have that kind of issue. You gotta be Floyd Mayweather defensively. You gotta be Lomachenko kind of defensive when you go in there with them. And I don't know if he's like that. I'm not trying to say he won't compete, because I feel like if he's in there, as long as he's in there, he's going to be competing. He's going to be able to compete at a high level. I really like Luke. I just can't rock with the chin if you get caught. And with these guys, they're punching. So, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. If he gets hit, if he gets caught. You saw it with Rosario, and he's a puncher, so it's not like he doesn't hurt other people, but you already been knocked out by this guy once.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know that. That's another thing you got to carry with you in the ring. But do you just shake that shit off and I'm going to box his head off this fight? You know what I'm saying? That's how you got to think about it. But I don't know if it's going to happen, man.
Right. It's very weird because that fight, he got knocked out before he got a chance to get the engine revving. So we don't really know.
No, right.
We don't know how that fight would have played out. And I definitely think that he should get a rematch. But at the same time, I can understand why they're not entertaining it as before, because it's like we got him out of there in one round. We're looking for big things. But Erickson Lubin is a really, really good boxer, man.
He's real good. He's
definitely. I'm a fan of his style. He has a clean, very sharp, very precise, very calm, level-headed. Doesn't get out of character even when he got you hurt.
Yeah,
I think I would like to see him a little bit more aggressive when he hurts a guy. Just a tad, just a little tad, like a little sprinkle of aggressiveness. I don't mean go crazy, but I felt like today he was a little too calm. He could have got knocked out because of it. But other than that, though, he was really good. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like, and this is always me, you know this, Ant, even though I like his defensive ability and how he catches punches, how he sees punches, sometimes like doing a few things I saw him do, like kind of like, going away from his hands a little bit, leaning out, I would tighten that up. Because
he was a defensive flaw, especially when he went on the ropes and he was getting with the uppercut quite a bit.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you
and then that's when them uppercuts were sliding in there.
I don't mind that defense with the hands like that if you're able to avoid the uppercuts. Like that's one of my things. Like, and my man Chaz Witherspoon taught me this lesson valuably. This dude, when he first turned pro, even before he first turned pro, he was the busiest heavyweight I've ever seen in my life. Dude, motherfucker would throw 130 pounds punches around every round. I don't know how he did it, but as a heavyweight, he did it. And when I would make him miss everything, straight or coming in circles, but he would start to creep the uppercut in. And I'm sitting there like, how the fuck am I getting hit with an uppercut? Everything else slightly leaning forward, not necessarily over the front knee, but just putting your head forward just enough. He's able to get that shot in there, and that opens the floodgates. So just like when you seen what happened in there with Rosario, you know, and he's getting them uppercuts in, you can't let that happen with Charlie. You know what I'm saying? You can't let those things be available. If you're going to be in that defense, you're going to have to be aware of the uppercuts.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't care who you are. I think when you stand in that defense, that's one of the flaws. You're potentially going to get hit with an uppercut, and you're going to potentially get hit with a body shot, because when you're standing more bladed like this,
yeah, there's less of a chance.
It slides up a little easier. But when you're here, don't get me wrong, you can cover up and pull back, but all it takes is for the timing to be off for that shot to slide right up the middle. You know what I'm saying?
But ever since I was sparring with Chaz, and I learned that lesson, I can't remember the last time I've been hit with an uppercut. Now, and you know how I fight with that defense. I use the hands up defense. The reason though is because I understood. He taught me a valuable lesson. Stop leaning in, especially at close range. See, the thing that he was doing, Lubin was doing, was he not necessarily leaning in, but he was leaving himself in the same position you would be in with your hands up, as if nobody was close, like there was no punches that could land coming up. That's the problem. You got to go somewhat more straight up, where the uppercut's then gonna have to be forced, and then once the uppercut's forced, it's a wrap. You ain't gonna be, now all you gotta do is maybe rock off a little bit, catch him with a counter left hook, or like a check hook or a counter right hand or whatever. At that point, it's fine. And then use the angles. Don't just stand in front of him. You know what I'm saying? The problem was sometimes they'll get on the ropes, and people get on the ropes and they'll just sit there.
They get lazy.
You gotta change levels.
Lazy. That's just being lazy. Yeah. Being lazy, or a little. I felt like Lubin was trying to pace himself. I almost feel like he was a little bit like, I don't want to gas myself out, so I'm gonna take my time. And he was kind of like, I don't know. I just felt like he wasn't pushing his conditioning to the limit, and it paid off for him, obviously. But you could see when a guy is like digging. He was being very professional. Nothing wrong with what he did. He won, but what I'm saying is when he was laying there on the ropes for certain times, he would just stay there a little too long, or he would do things a little too long. That's when he would get caught.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, in my opinion, when you sit in front of somebody, especially in the ropes in a position like that, a guy who is a puncher, that's what he wants. He's not necessarily thinking about outpointing you. He's trying to get you out of there. You can't sit too long. He's on the line. Not only are you on the line, but you're in close, and you just sitting there allowing him to throw shots. Nah, you got to change location. And he was doing that, though. When he was successful, obviously, in the fight, that's what he was doing. Change the location. Wasn't standing in front of him too long. You know what I mean? Using his jab, offsetting him and offsetting his offense. And then when he was effective, that's how he was doing it, off the jab stuff. You know what I mean? Feints. And I like some of the feints he threw, too. You know what I mean? Then going from the body, going to the head to the body, and just going up and changing levels. He gave him a lot of different looks, Rosario. And that's why I like Lubin. I feel like he's a pro's pro. He gives you a bunch of different looks. And you know what I mean? Attacks you in different ways. 2 shots to the head, maybe a shot to the body. You know, it's just like all kind of different things and coming from different angles. Not like a Lomachenko necessarily, but slower paced, but and careful. You know, I like that. I like that pro style. You know what I mean? Careful, and you don't got to be a super fast paced guy. You know what I mean? I just I like watching the skills and watching how he lets things develop and then creates opportunities too with it. So it's like I said, he's a pro's pro. I like him. I hope he keeps, I hope he's going to continue to be successful, so I can continue to watch.
Right. Take on a little question or two before we get out of here. Do you think Tank beats Loma, Coach? That's a good fight. What do you think, Eddie? I'm gonna say, listen, if if Tank falls behind early against Lomachenko the way he fell behind today against Barrios, he's losing the fight.
Definitely. I don't
see him winning a fight that he allows too many rounds to go in Loma's direction. And he has a tendency to give away rounds. Now, I don't know if he will against Loma, but based off the performances that I've seen of lately where he's looking for one big punch, if he does that with Lomachenko, he's going to lose on the cards, in my opinion.
But I think, you know what I think will happen? He'll probably be a little busier with Lomachenko because it'll be so unsettling how he's not comfortable where he is. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not. That's one thing about Lomachenko. Like even if you watch him fight when he fought Teofimo, Teofimo was really still not really that comfortable with where he was. That's why I feel like he was being extra busy because he wanted to make sure he knew where he was and he wanted to locate him. So he's throwing out, more shots. He wanted to be busy. He was just trying to win rounds, which was smart. And that's what ended up, carrying that night for him. But I think he would make Tank probably be a little busier than he would want to be. And either that or he would put his hands in his pocket because it would be nothing he can hit. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm like, Tank is really explosive and fast. Like his speed and shit is legit too. Like you can't overlook the speed because the speed is what creates his power. Like he got a hell of a quick twitch with his shit. Like he's throwing them shots and he's throwing them to Andy because his intentions are killer. So the only thing I don't know because I'm looking at him with Teofimo. I'm looking at Lomachenko with Teofimo, and Lomachenko was able to deal with the shots. I mean, he got buzzed a couple of times. You could see it, but he was still able to deal with the shots. And I'm just not sure. I mean, Tank is a whole nother animal of explosive. I don't know, man. I really don't know. That's a tough fight.
It's difficult with Tank. I feel like Tank has yet in his higher level fights gotten a chance to really showcase his true ability. I feel like every fight he's in that mentality of I'm just gonna get you out of here. And I'm yet to see him really have to think and use other tools and weapons. And you can see that he has those weapons and ability.
Absolutely.
But we haven't gotten a chance to see him showcase it due to his competition. I mean, tonight might be his best opponent on paper, next to his last opponent, who was a lot smaller. Now he goes up against a guy a lot bigger. But those are really his two best fights on paper. And those are two guys that really, I mean, I feel were designed for him to knock out. I'm not trying to discredit him in any way, but his last opponent was really a featherweight, I believe, or something. He was a smaller guy. He was a champion, but he was a smaller guy. And then, Barrios, I haven't heard of Barrios until this fight, to be honest with you. I don't believe that the team Mayweather Promotions would have put Tank in at 140 with a guy who supposed to beat him. And I believe that if Tank really wanted to, he could have won the rounds a little easier. I think he was looking to walk him down eventually and stop him. You know what I mean?
100%. I agree with that. I agree with almost everything you said. I mean, I think the kid was proud and was going in there looking to win, no doubt. We agree on that. But I think Tank, and I think some of the things that the guy was doing, Barrios, was kind of throwing Tank off a little bit. You know what I mean? Because of the height, the range. You know what I mean? I feel like he was a good opponent to pick to show off that Tank is saying, hey, you know what I mean? Like, or not Tank. The Mayweather, the whole Mayweather crew was basically saying, look, I can fight big guys. I can fight small, fast guys. I can fight whoever you want. You put me in front of, I got them all. And while they doing that, they won 3 titles. And you know what I mean? They got 3 titles. So it's like, 3 division champions. So it's like, you're basically saying, like, I'm prepared to run this game. Like, I'm the future. And he's doing it, fighting guys. Like, you know what I mean? He's really doing it, and he's stopping them. You know what I mean? He's stopping. Like, he just stopped. This dude ain't never been down before he fought Tank, and then now he's gone. And he's a whole weight class or 2 weight classes higher than what Tank is used to facing. So you got to give credit there and that. But I do agree with what you're saying. It's like, has he fought anybody? I don't know. I don't know what Barrios' resume was before this. And I mean,
to be honest, Eddie, keep it 100. Have you ever heard of Barrios before this?
Not really. I mean, I've heard the name, and I've probably heard of it, but not really. Not to mention with
I'm not trying to discredit him at all.
He had a belt, right?
All I'm saying is we haven't seen Tank in our super fight yet.
Yeah.
And you know, don't get me wrong, I think he's capable, but we still haven't seen him in a super fight where he has to be cautious, where he can't just walk in trying to knock you out, where he has to respect it. Every fight that he's been in has been, you know, it's like sparring somebody who you know you're better than. You're just kind of walking them for you. Walk in, you're kind of just like, whatever, I'm gonna eventually touch him downstairs or something. And that's basically the mentality. And I want to see Tank in a situation where he has to think. And I think that when you can't use that power, you actually have to be more creative. You have to think more. You have to showcase more of your skills. And, you know, those are the things that I would like to see more out of Tank before I can really judge him. You know what I mean? I still can't judge him. I'm still unsure, like, where to judge him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I can agree with that. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. It's all about the competition. It ain't, if it was just about the guy with the best skills, then you know what I mean. You wouldn't even have to fight, basically. You know what I'm saying? You would know who's going to be the winner. But that's not always the case. There's different factors that come into play, you know, in a fight. And Tank shows he got a great chin, he got a great heart. He's willing to come in there and fight. But against who? That's what most people are going to say. Against who? Oh, Barrios. Oh yeah, because he was undefeated and he had a belt. Well, yeah, at this point, that's all we got. But then you see him in there with a guy like Lomachenko, or a guy like Teofimo Lopez, or a guy like Shakur Stevenson, or Ryan Garcia, or any of these dudes that we know the names of, even though who have some of them beat, with the exception of Teofimo Lopez, because he, you know, and Lomachenko, because they got good resumes based on, first of all, Teofimo fighting Lomachenko. That's where his resume really lies, in the fact that he beat him. But a lot of these guys really don't have much to offer with their resumes because they haven't really fought each other.
No, I mean, at this point, that's the only way we can see it. Like Tank versus any of those guys that we mentioned. Then he beats any of those guys, then I'm going to say, okay, you beat a top guy. You know, if you beat Lomachenko, if you beat Shakur, if you beat Devin Haney, if you beat Teofimo, if you beat even Ryan Garcia, who's on the borderline of, is he a legitimate guy? Like, I think Ryan is still kind of in that position where he hasn't, you know, really proven himself yet. Even though Ryan, I think, is a great talent, and I think he can, and he's capable. But I'm just going based off of who they fought. You know, Ryan's pushing that borderline. Tank is on that borderline. Lomachenko's already been there. Teofimo can say he's already been there. You know what I'm saying? Those guys actually fought each other, and they fought other guys who were the top of their division. Tank, Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, those guys are still floating around with the uncertainty that we don't know just yet. You feel me?
It's true. That's true. There's still a lot to prove for some of those guys, and I think that's the difference. That's the difference with, you know, like even trying to say with Tank. Oh yeah, Tank is the man now. You still got to see him in there with somebody else. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. This is a big dude, 5'11", 140 pounds, heavier than what he's used to facing. He went in there and did the job. I'm giving him 100% credit for that. He deserves it. He actually had to struggle a little bit at different parts of the fight. Maybe he made it harder on himself, like he said. But the reality is he did. So he did show that. But he still hasn't fought to the level of opposition as Lomachenko or even Teofimo, because, like you said, they faced each other. They faced other guys who you got to really pay attention to. Even with Devin Haney fighting, what's his name? I know he's supposed to have been past it, but he did well with Devin Haney at the end. What the hell? I can't remember his name now.
Who, Gambo?
No. One fight Devin Haney last. The last.
Yeah, the last fight. Who did Devin Haney just fight? Shit.
He just fought. And the funny thing is,
bro, I can't remember either who he just fought. Now that you say that, somebody put in the chat, who did Devin Haney just fight, y'all?
I forgot the damn name. Oh my gosh. And I, like, on the tip of my tongue, I'm seeing
it from my memory, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Lately, bro, I've been forgetting stuff too. Linares.
There you go, Linares. Yo, you making me feel better, Ant, because it must not be the punches to the head, bro. It could
be that it's freaking, 1:18 in the morning and we tired as hell. It could be that too. But yeah, Linares. I thought that Devin Haney looked good against Linares. I think Linares, that's what I'm saying. But I think that Linares is on the end of his back end of his career.
Right.
I think they're moving Devin Haney properly. And I just think that right now, Devin Haney and what's his name?
Ryan Garcia?
Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, they're all riding that borderline of like, yes, they're great and we know it, but they have to show it. And Tank has proven that he's got great power, but against who? You know what I'm saying? And I know that, don't get me wrong, I really believe he's going to carry it over when he fights the top guy. But my thing is, it's like you got to show and prove. And Barrios, big heart. Everybody who he's fought, whatever. But again, I want to see Tank do it against a real top guy. You know what I'm saying? A real top guy. I don't need you to go up 4 weight classes. I need you to fight the top guys in your weight class. Let's see you fight the 135 champion, the 130 champions, wherever you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that 140 fight that they just had, wasn't that one? That was at 140. I hope I'm not being stupid right now. With what's his man? He just won all the belts. Well, not all the belts, but he's the unified. I can't remember his name. Kid from the UK. Oh man, damn! What is wrong with me?
Luke Campbell?
Huh?
Who you talking about?
Not Luke Campbell. No, not Luke Campbell. He's won 4. No, it's he just beat
Josh Taylor.
Yes, there you go, Josh Taylor. See, man, it might have been the punches, bro. Anyway, Josh Taylor, he's 140, right?
Yeah.
Now you don't see him going up there fighting him, and that's smart. You don't want to go and fight that guy. He proved like, yo, I'm that dude. You can't just come up here and think it's gonna be all sweet. So, you know what I mean? They went after a guy that was, big guy, pause, but they went after the right guy at the right time, and it kind of worked for him. That's smart. That's a Mayweather thing. That's Mayweather. No, he's smart. They're smart. That's a smart team. When Floyd was going up, he went from 130 to 135 to 140 to 147. He ain't do that. Oh, I'm jumping up 15 weight classes because I think I'm the best. No.
Yeah, I can't judge it. I think they're doing it correctly. Because that the issue is when we start to place these guys as the best.
Oh, of course, yeah.
We really start digging. We're like, well, hold on. You didn't fight this guy. You didn't fight this guy. You didn't fight. Matter of fact, who have you really fought? When you start really digging into the crates, you kind of say to yourself, I got to give you your props and everything. You're a hell of a fighter, but hold on. You haven't really
100%.
Haven't done much yet. You think what I'm saying? And that's just me being a fan, not really trying to be a judgmental person, but I'm just being honest, like honestly speaking. You feel what I'm saying?
You can have all the talent in the world and be good at all you want and explosive against lower level competition. But if that's the case, then you can get a guy who just knock guys out, like a tough man guy, and just keep putting them in front of people and let them knock 40 straight people out. Is he gonna still be considered the top guy in the world? No. It's all about your competition. It's who are you knocking out? Who are you beating? If you beat 30 or 40 tomato cans, you ain't gonna get no money because don't nobody know who the hell you beat. You got an impressive record, but against who? So at the end of the day, you have to beat the guys that we know. That's the only way you're gonna get credit. You know what I'm saying? Like you can be the best, you can be the most talented dude I've ever seen in my life against that guy, that one dude that we never heard of before. But yeah, against that dude, he looked great. Yeah, but put him in there with somebody who's a Hall of Famer. Then we're gonna see something totally different, won't we? You know what I mean? So it's about who he is. It's all about the competition. That's the reason why we're doing this. It's competition. It ain't just if that was the case, then who's the best shadow boxer in the world? But that ain't it. Who's the best punch dude to hit the bag the best or the pads the best? That ain't it. It's about the competition. Who's in front of you? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Big shout out to whatREPit, man. Thank you for the super chat. Eddie Chambers KOs Wilder.
Ooh, I like that. Even if it ain't true, I don't give a shit. If you say beat his ass by decision, I'm with you. Even that KO, I like that KO. Fuck that. He gonna be tired at the end anyway.
Yeah, man. You know, but all these guys are good fighters right now. You know what I mean? They're all doing their thing. I'd love to see everybody start to mix it up with each other, man. But yeah, that's it, man. I was happy, man. Good night of boxing. You know what I mean? Good night of boxing.
Yeah.
There was some other fights I didn't get a chance to see. I didn't get this. I hate when they put these cards on the same time, bro.
Yes, yo,
It's like, cut it out. Cut it
word.
out. Stop cutting each other's throat and let these fights happen on different days so we can enjoy all of them. Like, why do we gotta come? Why do I gotta compete with a Lomachenko fight and a Tank fight on the same night, and you expect me to know everything that happened on both fights when both fights happen at the same time, bro?
It's hard. This is why.
And then you got a fight that's on pay-per-view, so you got guys paying to watch the fight, and then you still want to watch the other one, but you done spent money on this one. You know, it's it's dumb, bro. Like, it's like, cut it out, man. Like, play. Like, in my opinion, you'll make more money because people won't have to pick and choose. Like, if I didn't have the money, I would say fuck the Tank fight. I'll just watch Lomachenko fight and catch and get a link and watch it on the Mayweather fight on the link or something, because how I look spending money on this when at least I still get a good boxing match. You feel what I'm saying? But instead they want to try to battle each other and compete with each other, and it's corny, man, because that's why I don't get to see all the fights. I don't get to see everything that's going on. I can't talk about every single fight that happened tonight because I was too busy going back and forth.
Yeah, it happens. That's why
I can't even give you a real commentary on the Lomachenko fight because I kept having to go back to see if the Tank fight was starting. I only saw rounds of that fight. You feel what I'm saying?
100%. That's why companies send out multiple guys, man, and people to go to these different fights, because they got different fights on the same day. Do you know what I mean? And it makes it tough. It makes it tough to like, if you're a reporter, you want to know all of the ins and outs of everything that happened you can't do it. There's too much. It's too much to look for. Now, granted, you can wait but it's about being first too. You want to make sure I know what happened here, so I'm the first person to put this out, or at least I'm up on game just like everybody else is. And you can't do it because it's impossible. They're happening at the same time. Even if you want to enjoy them and not know the end of the fight before you watch it, it's impossible to do, because you're going to see something online if somebody posted that's going to ruin your, enjoying that fight. So it's like, yeah, it kind of sucks, but they're always going to do it.
Fights aren't the same when you know. Fights aren't the same when you know what happened, unless you're doing it for studying purposes. Like, when I go back and watch an old fight, it's because I already know that there's things in that fight I want to learn. So I want to study them, pick them apart. But if I'm gonna watch a fight in suspense, but I know the outcome, I'm not even interested, bro. I'm like,
that's impossible. That shit ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I can't enjoy it the same. You know what I'm saying? It's whack. So boxing got to do something about that, man. But
listen, man, all they think about is get as much bread as they can get on these things. And if they feel like Saturday, the same night as the Floyd Mayweather, the same night as the Tank Davis and or Lomachenko on the same whatever, they like, man, screw it. We doing it that day. We got the venue. We got this. We got that. We got people coming. I don't care if ratings aren't where they need to be. We got the house money or whatever. So it's like, I don't care. Or we got the TV money or whatever. To me, I don't understand it. I feel like, the fans suffer, to a degree. But you know what I mean? Like I said, what do they care as long as they're getting paid?
Right. Yeah, man. So yeah, guys, we just came on to talk a little bit, man. Yo, Eddie, we got to start doing this podcast that we've been talking about for a while, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to start breaking down different boxing subjects, everything from nutrition to training methods to drilling, like stuff like that. Not always talking about the other fighters, but more so talking about like what we do behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? And stuff that we've done together, stuff that you've done coming up with your father and throughout all the camps you've had, man. Let out some of these secrets and start letting these people like really get inside. Like, you know, they don't really know like everything that we do. You know what I'm saying? They, you know, they're professional fighters themselves, but even so, like when you're working with one trainer or you're working with one team, it's totally different than working with a different team. You know what I'm saying? So you've been in a few different camps and teams and sparred different people, and you know, I've been in multiple camps and training situations myself where, you know, you pick up different stuff, little tricks, little tools to the trade, and then we could go ahead and start talking about some of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I like the idea of doing that, man. It's gonna shed light on, you know, obviously the ins and outs of what's going on with boxing, but you know, positive stuff. You know what I mean? There's you know, a lot of negative to talk about with this sport, to be honest. So this is gonna be something that is not necessarily focusing on just fighters, but it's focusing on what they do and how we got to where we are. You know what I'm saying? I think that's lost on a lot of people. They just see guys fight and they say, oh, well, he didn't do this or he didn't do that. You know, they comment, or he knocked him out. But you got to see what goes into all of this. I mean, you feel like it's just one night he walked out and punched the guy in the face and knocked him out and that's it. No, there's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot of thinking. A lot of people don't think fighters can think, but we really can. Trust me. And we think on the spot. Like you got to react with a 100,000. I mean, with 100-mile-an-hour punch coming at your head 20, like 40, 50 times around. So, you know, think about that and think about how you have to literally think on the dime and make, you know, game time decisions right there. And not only that, the trainers in the corner having to make adjustments is something that people don't really understand, and why are they able to, you know, to shed light on certain aspects that are going on in the ring just by watching a fight that their fighters competing in. There's a lot of things, man. You know, you have to be involved in this sport for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To really understand it. I mean, I know some people come along late and have success, you know, some of these fighters, but the reality of it is, even if you did come along late, you had your eye on it for a long time. You know what I'm saying? In some way, because this is not something you could just do overnight. You know, there's a lot of work that goes into this, and it would be nice to be able to share that with people and really give them a better understanding of what we have to do to be able to compete at.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that, man. And I don't know if it's gonna be live all the time, but we might just go ahead and just do it, put it out, let the people see it. Sometimes we'll go live. We'll do different stuff, man. But Eddie, man, I know it's late. I know you got a morning agenda you gotta get to. I'm getting tired too, you know what I mean? So we're gonna chop it up some more, man. You already know, man. We gotta do some videos too, man. I don't know what your schedule's looking like tomorrow, but if you want, we can do some videos. If not, you know, whenever you're free, some instructions and stuff like that.
We'll talk about it. You already know me, man.
You know,
I'm always trying to be available. I'm always available when when I can be. But most of the time, especially when Ant's asking, I'm available.
okay. All right, man. See y'all, man. Salute to everybody who hopped on. Thank you so much. You already know. Boxing life. Let's end it up.